Near mint condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
This is Mr. Chris Claremont, a legend.
Melody goes,
Fire.
How's it going, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today for my overview of the Batman One Bad Day box set from DC Comics. So let's go ahead and get started. And welcome back, everybody. So what we're looking at here is the Batman One Bad Day box set from DC Comics. And it does come sealed, wrapped in plastic, and you do have this little leaflet right here, which I think is just spirit gum that's holding it together. Let's just take it off here. There we go, yeah, just a little gum here, which I always keep these, as you all know. So, leaflet people unite. There's dozens of us. It's the same design as the front here on the back of the box. And here is what the spine of the box looks like. It's the classic image by Brian Bolland of the Joker there. The top, you see the design of Gotham City. And then, of course, each of the books, which we'll be looking at here in a second. And then the back, or I'm sorry, underneath here is the ISBN with the retail price being $159.99. Now, it's a really interesting concept because what One Bad Day is the idea. We'll have to talk about this book. So we'll talk a little bit about each book as I go through them. But this is The Killing Joke. This is where the idea originated from. Alan Moore and Brian Bolland pretty much trying to break Commissioner Gordon because the Joker has this idea that you can break any man in one bad day. That's all it takes is just one bad day for somebody to break and become evil like him, for somebody to snap, and that's what he was trying to do to Commissioner Gordon. I guess we'll look at this one no matter how many times I've talked about it. I love this story. So that's what the idea of One Bad Day was. I read each and every one of these, and some of them, yeah, used that idea, and others, not so much, but I'm curious to see what you all think. I did read each one of them, and it's a very hit and miss. Some of these are really good, others could have done without, but you can find out for yourself. I always let people judge for themselves. Now, before we get these open, actually, let's go ahead and get them all out of the box. It doesn't have any kind of pattern. Patterns actually just end here with, it's basically the city, the bridge right there of Gotham. And here's the way the books look if you have them on your shelf, if you've been buying them individually, each one retailing for $17.99. So really the box set saves you about, I don't know, $4 or $5 maybe, right? Something like that, if I'm doing the math right. But you could have bought them individually. I don't think the Joker, The Killing Joke, it's not labeled as a One Bad Day. I don't think this was on sale. I think this just came with the box set. So there were two different ways of getting it. You can get them individually, and then the box set is sold with this issue of The Killing Joke. Or was it the Riddler? Anyway, it was one of those. Or you could get the box set that has all of them. That's the two ways of getting the box set. I'm not sure if there's going to be an omnibus of this or not, but each one of these has about 88 pages or so, with the, give or take here or there with the extras. So you're looking at about 800 pages or so worth of material. So that's definitely omnibus size. You know, we've seen bigger, of course. We've seen twice as big now. Now, before I get started, a huge thank you to Die and Breed Collectors for sending us this box set. A lot of my viewers have been wanting me to do an overview, and they were kind enough to send us this box set. So completely unexpected, but always appreciated. Okay, so let's jump in here and start the overview. We're going to talk a little bit about the Killing Joke, which has been collected many times before in many different formats, so just a little bit of that. And then each one of these only being about 88 pages, we're only going to talk just a little bit about showcasing the artwork, but I did want to give you the premise of each of the stories. And then, of course, we'll look at the build of these. The one that started it all, but I still have to talk about it, Batman, The Killing Joke, Alan Moore, Brian Bolland, John Higgins. So this one here does collect the original colors for the people wondering. The one in the box set does have the original colors, not the new colors. there's the retrospective, and then what the artwork looks like, which, like I said, I've gone over. We do need to do an old reader, new reader on this, because I just love this story, and I'm curious what new readers would think of it. Because I've seen a lot of talk about people that don't really dig it, that it's way too edgy, and I get it. There's also some other art in here by Brian Boland, like The Origin of the Joker, some of this from Countdown 34, and some of this from Batman Black and White, but they've just colored it for this particular collection. You have some original artwork in here, or sketches. And then the Joker Art Gallery, which includes, of course, the Joker Last Laugh covers, the covers to Wonder Woman. This is by William Messner Loebs. The variant covers. And there's just something amazing about Brian Boland's artwork. The cover to the movie, and then the Blu-ray cover, and then the Detective Comics 1000 variant right there. And a little bit of the bios here. Brian Boland, John Higgins, and Alan Moore. Love that picture for Alan Moore. This one's 88 pages. So no dust jacket. None of these have dust jackets. And there seems to be a finish, like a glossy finish to the hardcovers. Batman One Bad Day, The Riddler. We're going to fly through these, I promise. This is the one by Tom King and Mitch Gerads. And this is the one that was up for a lot of Eisners. Best Single Issue One-Shot, Best Limited Series, Best Writer Tom King. And this is the story of the Riddler, who is probably the smartest, or one of the smartest Batman villains. And how it's a deep psychological study of his past and what he's responsible for. He murders somebody out in the open, and Batman doesn't seem to realize why he just murdered somebody. It's not like the Riddler to do this. So it's a story that focuses on his past and the things that have happened to him that kind of led him in the path of becoming the Riddler. And it's not just 9-panel grids, because I'm sure you saw that at the beginning. Later on, we use just all kinds of panels and layouts throughout these pages. And it really is an interesting eye-opener. I can see why this one was definitely nominated for all those awards. Now, all the way in the back is one of my favorite things, and that is the variant covers. There's always a Jim Lee cover, but more importantly, at least to me, there's always a Brian Boland cover for each and every single one of these. And what they did with the Brian Boland covers is use them in the back art here on the art on board. This is the Two-Face One Bad Day, and again, Brian Boland's art on the back cover there. And it's usually the main artist that does the cover. So this one is drawn by Javier Fernandez. Mariko Tamaki is the writer. Jordi Belair, the colorist. And Ariana Mayer, the letterer. This is the story of Two-Face. This is another interesting story about the character of Two-Face and the inner Harvey Dent that's still left in him, because he was once friends with Bruce Wayne, and he was once an ally to Batman, and how much he's changed and how much he hasn't changed and how much he wants to redeem himself. A lot of this is kind of a story between father and son that kind of goes in ways that surprise me. A little bit of flashback here through these pages. But when I talk about The Killing Joke, or One Bad Day, here, let's move on to the next book. Oh, actually, no, let's look at the extras. So as always, a Jim Lee cover, and Cassandra Cain, Batgirl, always a plus in my book. And then the Brian Boland cover, with a bunch of different artists. You have original art in here. And then where else you can find stories that feature some of these characters in here. Let's move on to The Penguin. This is the one that's written by John Ridley, and it is drawn by Giuseppe Camuncoli. This is a story about how the Penguin has lost his empire to one of his goons, the Umbrella Man. Somebody that was just carrying his umbrella, and he teams up with an old ally to try to get back his empire. So whenever I think of The Killing Joke, as I was saying, I always think of origin stories, or possible origin stories that make me question, oh, so this is the day that made the Joker snap, or the character that we are led to believe will become the Joker. And that's not really found through these. As a matter of fact, some of these stories take place in more than just one day. But maybe I was expecting a little bit more of that type of story. And not to say that these stories are bad, but I was expecting maybe origin stories for some of these characters, and we've seen that already. So maybe that's why they decided to just make it a task for these writers to focus on one character in one bad day they're having. And I guess, yes, Oswald Cobblepot has lost his empire. And let's look in the back. Again, the Jim Lee variant here. You have Dan Mora, Jamal Campbell, Brian Bolin, Giuseppe Camincoli, and then original art in here. I love that they're keeping all of this the same. And then ads for where else you can find the characters of Batman. Mr. Freeze, One Bad Day. Love that picture by Brian Bolin. This is the one that made me realize, okay, so we're not just talking about modern day. Jerry Duggan, Matteo Scalera, and Darren Bennett doing the colors, and Matteo Scalera doing the lettering. I have to say, I really like where Matteo Scalera's art is evolving to. There's just some amazing mix of Tim Sell in there with Sean Murphy, and I liked his art ever since Black Science or all those other Remender stories. But here it's just a little bit different. It's got that Tim Sell flair, at least to me. Maybe I'm wrong. This takes place in the past, and no, that's not Damian. That's actually Dick Grayson Robin. And it is a sweet story, in a way, about Mr. Freeze and how he doesn't have to wear his costume anymore because of this bad winter they're having in Gotham. I really like this story. So I guess if I had to pick one, The Riddler's a solid story. I'm not going to lie. It deserved those Eisner nominations. By the way, the entire series got nominated for Best Limited Series. But this is the one that surprised me. I think there's just something special about taking place in the past. It has a lot of heart, and it goes in ways I didn't expect it to go. And the connection between Robin, Dick Grayson, and Mr. Freeze, I dig. And that new costume at the end is solid. In the back, we have the variant covers. That is a gorgeous cover right here by Sweeney Boo. And again, love Brian Boland's artwork. Character designs here. Dick Grayson Robin, even though he's got that little hood on. And there's Nora. Now, as far as the build, let's talk about the build in the next book. Now we're talking about Catwoman, One Bad Day. And this is Jamie McKelvey's art. Like I said, the main artist always does the front cover, and Brian Boland does the back cover. Written by G. Willow Wilson, Clayton Cowles doing the lettering. The basic premise of this is that in her childhood, Selena Kyle's mother, Catwoman's mother, sold this family heirloom and was ripped off. It was like this brooch right here that she sold. And the guy was like, hey, this is a bootleg. I can't give you much. And he's like, all right, just leave it here with me. She wants to retrieve it. However, that heirloom is now worth a lot of money, and she wants it back. And she's going to go through all kinds of obstacles to get it. And oh my gosh, I just have to say, McKelvey's artwork, damn! Those curves, my goodness. Okay, that's all I had to say about that. Let's talk about the build. So these are all printed as a standard size hardcover. We have a semi-gloss paper stock that they're using. It's not really glossy, it's not matte paper. The back, as we've seen, always have the variants by Jim Lee and Brian Boland, but other variants in here too by different artists. And then, of course, the internal artwork without the lettering and colors, and then the extras. Our end sheets happen to be black for most of these here. Yeah, and as far as the binding, with 88 pages, we are talking about glued binding, so not sewn binding. Bane, One Bad Day. This is a really interesting one for two reasons. Number one, holy crap, Howard Porter's artwork, he is a beast. I'm not talking about just the way he draws Bane, the way he draws everybody. He has evolved. Joshua Williamson's the writer, Tommy Mortier is the colorist, and Steve Wands is the letterer. But the way that he has just evolved, he is on another level. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Daniel Warren Johnson. Look at all those panels. This is insane. I love his artwork, what it's turned into. You know, this is a different beast than he was in the pages of JLA. So I'm so glad he's still drawing comics. I know it's not for everybody, but I dig his style. And the other thing that's interesting about this is that this is set in a possible future where Bane is now just entertaining people as a washed-up wrestler, and he dreams of the day that he broke Batman's back, and he wants one last chance of as doing that. As a matter of fact, it's kind of morbid, but he gets his opponents to dress up as Batman so he can just start breaking their backs. You know, long gone are the days of using Venom. However, he has another opportunity to use Venom, and this is a different type of Venom that not just changes him, but everyone around him, and he wants to go and have a rematch with Batman. And that's what this particular story is about. Again, Howard Porter, my goodness, his art. In the back, we have the variant covers, Jim Lee. I haven't seen a lot of Jim Lee drawing Bane. That's really awesome. Surprisingly, even with the Venom juice, Brian Bolland doesn't make him huge. Like, I'm used to Venom just Kelly Jones huge. And then some original art here and sketches and character designs. Just, man, that stuff is just, yeah, he's on a whole new different level now. Each one of these books has 88 pages. And as I mentioned, the art is on board. Batman One Bad Day, Clayface. This is another one of my favorite ones. I can't pick, right? I can't just pick one. So if I had to pick just one, yeah, sure, the Riddler's the right answer. It was excellent. But this is, oh, this one's good. This is by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, who have been writing the Captain America comic. Sermanico is the artist, Romulo Fajardo Jr. is the colorist, and Tom Napolitano is the letterer. This does take place in one day. I guess they followed the rules in this one. And it's all about the character of Clayface, how he's starting to try to start over in the city of Los Angeles. The City of Angels is where he's just trying to go back and become an actor. However, as things happen here in the world of Batman Rogue Gallery, it's not that easy. He's not getting the roles. He meets some friends along the way. And as a matter of fact, his friend Corey gets a part. He's like, yo, dude, I actually got the part. By the way, Clayface is going as Clay now. It's a secret identity in LA. Way to go, Clayface. Nobody's going to realize that's you. And he gets jealous, right? Like, he realizes that he's losing parts to his friend. So what does he do? He kills his friend, Corey. And he goes on this whole, like, by the way, the movie they're filming, solid. Very meta, but very, very solid. Very in your face with what it is. I loved it. I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't read it. But yeah, he goes on this whole killing spree. I mean, it's not just one person. It's not just poor Corey. And Batman takes note of this, and of course he comes and visit him. So if you're worried about Batman not making an appearance in all of these or any of these, he does. Sometimes it's a minor appearance, just a couple pages here and there. Sometimes it's he plays a big part of the story. But let's look at the extras, like the Jim Lee and Scott Williams cover there, Alex and Claire. This is by Jorge Corona right here. I have to say, this picture of Basil Carlo, oh my gosh, that's horrific. What was Bolin thinking? And then you have character designs here, and then original art, and then some more ads. I think they're the same ads in every one of these books with long... Nope, they're not. This is a different ad they're using. Last but certainly not least, my favorite Batman villain, Ra's al Ghul. Written by Tom Taylor and drawn by the phenomenal Ivan Reis. And Danny Mickey supplying the inks, Brad Anderson the coloring, and Wes Abbott doing the lettering. This is not an origin story, but it does go a little bit of a... it goes back a bit of ways. Like, talking a little bit about the character of Rage and how long he's been around. And what is the drive that keeps bringing him back? What is his connection to these people, especially Talia and this animal here that we see? Why is that animal so important? And of course, what is a Demon's Head story without including the world's greatest detective, Tim Drake? No, I'm just kidding. Batman, of course. And they have this amazing fight because Rage has kidnapped his grandson, Damien. So you can find out how this ends. It goes in ways that I didn't expect it to go. This is a solid story, too. Like I said, some of these are hits, some of these are misses. In the back, we have this amazing image of Batman and Ra's al Ghul with swords. I mean, what's a Demon's Head story without swords, too? There's some more variant covers, one by Brian Bolland. Look at that chest hair. It's like he just shaved and it's growing back. So, anyway, original art here by Ivan Reyes, who's a phenomenal artist. And then ads. And that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this box set, don't forget to check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltzcomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget, the CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more.
And that was the content, the page count, and build of each of these books in this box set. Let me know in the comments down below if you are picking this up, if you're hoping one day we'll get an omnibus edition of all of this, and what other characters you'd like to see get a One Bad Day one-shot. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Don't forget to smash that like button. Again, thank you to my buddy Johnny at Dying Breed Collectors for sending us a copy of this box set. Everyone, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.